Hi and good evening. Welcome to today's free online lesson of Acad system uh, com- uh, from Acad Systems. So my name is Irdina. For today's topic of FOL, I'm going to continue from family to model, part 2, industrial racking parametric. From the previous part 1, we focus on industrial wall shelf. So for today's part 2, family to model, we're going to see in details on how to do parametric of Revit family. So for today's software product that we're going to use is Revit, specifically in Revit family, where we design our model or element in Revit family instead of Revit project. So over here, I already opened the part 1, also the part 2 practice that I'm going to show you of the example that I'm going to show the demo for today. Okay, so over here, I already opened it. So this is the 3D view for my part 1. As you can see up here, the file saved as FOL part 1. So this is the part 1 of my industrial wall shelf. If you haven't watched it yet, you can watch it on Acad System YouTube channel and search for industrial racking. Uh, and then you can try to look up for the part 1 first, and the next one you can continue with the part 2. So this is the part 1. Actually, in part 1, we focus on how to do the extrusion of the shelf to build up the shelf plate, and we created the extrusion for the shelf bar. Also, in part 1, sorry, let me open here in project browser, front view. So in part 1, I copied all of the original reference plan for the existing shelf extrusion model over here. So we can see this reference level and also this reference plans that we created to model the shelf extrusion. Also, I copied this reference plan to the next count of the shelves. So I copied to up to 4 shelf count. So this is what we do it manually in part 1. So for today lesson, I'm going to show you how to do it properly and utilize it in our family types. For example, in this part 1, if you check in properties, we only add the basic dimension of the shelf, but we didn't do the array count for the shelf plate, also for the bust spacing and other else. Also for the materials, we only do it for the brick material, but we didn't differentiate it with the bar material, the shelf bar material. So for today, I'm going to add for the shelf bar materials as well. And also for the array count for the shelf plate. So firstly, I'm going to show you the example of what I'm going to demo for today. S- So these are the proper parametric. If you see from the part 1 over here, okay, part 1, check in front elevation. Sorry. We copied all the reference plan manually so that, and as we can see here, all the reference plan is here and it will add up. If you want to add more shaft plate, it will become messy with more reference plan. But if you check in this, if you do it with the proper parametric, we don't need to copy or create new reference plan, but we can do a recount without having a new reference plan. So it will automatically added up the chef plate count. So I'm going to start it now. So I'm going to continue our part 2 in this part 1 level, part 1 file. Firstly, I'm going to delete all of this, all of the manual that we added. For example, this shelf extrusion for the second and up until this fourth one. Also, I'm going to delete all of the reference plane that we copied and paste from the part 1. Now all the dimensions and reference plane are already deleted. So for the bar spacing, I'm going to drag it lower. Now we have only the original shelf plate and also the shelf bar. So in project browser, I'm going to click this reference plan, reference level, double click. Now we are at the top view of the model plan. So we have this bar spacing over here and shelf bar over here and also shelf bar, bar over here. So I'm going to delete these two. These two at the front of the shelf. So since I created the extrusion of the shelf bar together as in group, so how to delete it? I need to click this shelf bar first, click edit extrusion, and you can delete the line. So for this two shelf bar, I'm going to move it a bit over here. So I selected all and pick and drag it, move it to a bit to the left. Before I'm continue with the left bar, I'm trying to click this finish first and check. So it doesn't work. So we're going to click this edit back. And let it over there. After we have deleted the two shelf bar in front, click finish. Now I'm going to move these two dimensions that we haven't set the level parameter for them yet. So for these two and this extrusion, all right. Now, okay, I'm going to move this. Okay, all right. Since if you don't know if the extrusion already aligned with the reference plan, you can click this modify button, click align, or on your keyboard, you can type the shortcut of AL. So pick the reference plan that we want it to connect to and also the one that we want it to move. Now it's already aligned with the reference plan. Okay. Same goes to this reference plan. I want it to be here as well, so I click copy. And and then put it here. For the dimension, you can also delete and create a new one in this modify button. You can click measure and choose align dimension. To end the dimension, you can just click anywhere. Now I'm going to repeat this process on the wait, let me click back. All right. Hmm. Okay. Now I click edit extrusion. Firstly, I'm going to pick this one. Okay, cancel, click yes. Okay, now we are back again. So I'm going to do a proper one. For example, we're gonna offset this reference plan, click create, and choose this reference plan, and then you can pick this pick line, offset to 25. Same goes to this one. Now I'm going to edit my shelf bar again. So click on the shelf bar extrusion, click edit extrusion. So you're going to move the shelf bar to the new reference plan. And then I'm going to delete the two shelf bar in front. Okay. After that, click finish. Then it's already located here. For this dimension, as you can see, we haven't set it for the label parameter yet. So you can delete this one and also this one and create a new dimension for the new shelf bar that we locate. Click this align dimension and then click anywhere to finish the dimension. Same goes to the right one. Okay. Now we're going to create the label dimension for this shelf bar offset. To do that, you need to click this dimension first. Up here, we have label dimension. So over here, it's labeled as none yet because it's haven't set for any of the parameter. So to create a new one, you need to click this button, create parameter, and then you can name it as shelf bar offset. For the dimension, for the group parameter, I want it to be placed at other group. So click other and then click OK. Same goes for this one. As we already create the parameter for shelf bar offset, we don't need to create a new one. We can just choose the label dimension over here and choose shelf bar offset as both of them are from the same group. Now we have shelf bar offset. If you want to check your current family types, you need to check in this properties ribbon button, click this family types. Now we have already added the shelf bar offset over here. For the level spacing, I'm going to delete first, as we're going to rename it a new one as the shelf spacing. So for this one, to delete the the previous parameter, you need to choose this icon, delete parameter. And then click yes, apply, and OK. Okay. Now if you check in your 3D, this is the adjustment that we did just now. Now, how to add a new shelf plate count for the next row? For example, I want to have 2 shelf plate or more. How to do that in Revit family? So in order to add new shelf count, we need to choose this shelf extrusion first. So in front view in project browser, you can check for front elevations. So we already selected our shelf elevation, shelf extrusion. So to do array count for our shelf plate, you need to, in modify button, after we already selected our shelf, in modify button, click this array. So it will come out like this for the array ribbon button. So for the number and move to, I'm going to leave it as it was. For example, like number 2 and move to second. So just leave it. We can change it later. Now, if you read the instruction below here, click to enter move start point. So I'm going to choose this move and also click to enter move to endpoint. So for the endpoint is up here. Now, it come out this dimension for the shelf count, which is 2. So just leave it. But when you click this, any of this shelf plate, it will appear this shelf dimension. For example, if I click below here, it also will come out like this. So now we're going to create a new label dimension from this existing array dimension. So click this one, and from here, you click create parameter, and I'm going to name it as shelf count. So for the group parameter, still other, and then click OK. All right, now we're going to add a new shelf spacing. Okay, for the shelf spacing in family types, if you don't want to add a dimension first, before create a new parameter, you can also create parameter from the family types. For example, you click this properties, family types in properties ribbon button, and over here, beside this edit parameter, we have this new parameter. So you click this one and add shelf spacing. And for the group parameter, I'm going to group them in other or other. Okay. And then click apply. Before we click apply, I'm going to make the shelf spacing as, for example, like 250. And then click apply. Now nothing has changed yet because we haven't added the dimension for shelf spacing. So if you click this dimension from measure, align dimension. So I'm going to choose from this bottom reference plane to to this top reference plane of the first shelf extrusion plate. So click here And then you can click anywhere to end the dimension. So from this one, we already create the new parameter named shelf spacing in this family types. So we don't need to click this one anymore. We can just click this drop down button in label and choose for shelf spacing. Now it's already automatically move the shelf plate upside, as we already set the new parameter for shelf spacing. Mm. Okay, now I'm going to move it over here for a while. Okay, as we can see in our family types, over here, properties, click family types, we have two shelf, and we have two shelf count, and also the shelf spacing is 250. So to do it, if I change this height, for example, if the height is 1000. Supposedly, if I add the shelf spacing in 250, the shelf count supposed to be 4. So in order to do that, we need to create a formula for it to be automatically done. For example, in this shelf count, I'm going to add the formula as round down height divide by shelf. Shelf spacing. And close the bracket, click apply. Okay. Now, now, if you check in family types, the height is 1000, so the shelf spacing is 250, so the shelf count automatically count as 4. So what if I change the height to 500, since we already add this formula? So click apply. Okay, since 500 divided by 2, we can manage to have 2 shelf count. So that's how we do it for the shelf count. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to continue for the shelf bar spacing. As you can see, when we click this family types, and I try to change the height for 1000, right? Click apply and OK. The shelf count plate will automatically added up here, but the shelf bar remain the extrusion of shelf bar remain over here. So how to do it? So how to create formula for this extrusion bar, shelf bar, to follow the shelf plate along when we adjust the value of the height or the shelf count. So wait, so for example, in this shelf, the practice one, as you can see, when we add um, more six shelf count, the bar spacing followed stretch up and follow according to the shelf count. So if you check in these family types, it's set to a new shelf bar spacing. So this is the formula that we're going to create. For example, if you check in its reference level, in its family types, so they add for the shelf bar spacing from the bottom of the reference pen and top of the reference pen. Okay. Back in our model, so in front view, since we haven't add the reference plan for our shelf bar yet, in order to do that, we need to click Create and Reference Plan and choose from the endpoint of the shelf bar from the left one to the endpoint of the shelf bar on the right side. Now I'm going to extend this reference plan line over here and rename. To name the reference plan, I'm going to click this. Type here top shelf bar. Then just click anywhere to enter it. So to make sure the shelf bar extrusion align with this lock with this reference plan, to lock them, we need to click this modify button, choose align, choose the reference plan first, and then make sure to choose the shelf bar extrusion. And then click lock. Same goes for this one, click reference plan and lock for this one. For the top of the shelf bar extrusion. Now, if we check in our family types, we haven't yet we haven't add our shelf bar spacing. So you can add it here, or you can do the dimension first. For example, I'm going to add here. Click the new parameter icon. You can name it as shelf bar spacing. For the dimension, group them in other. Okay. Apply and okay. And then in dimension, choose from the lowest, from the bottom of the reference plan. Reference plan for the extrusion shelf bar to the top reference plan of the shelf bar extrusion. So as you can see here, the shelf bar is here. So this is the top reference plan. So as we already added the dimension, we need to label it, but we already create our new parameter in this family type, so we don't need to create again over here. So you can just click this drop down button and click shelf bar spacing. Okay. Now, to make sure the shelf bar extrusion follow the and stretch up the bar extrusion according to the shelf count. So click these family types. We're going to create a new formula for the shelf bar spacings. So for this one, the formula is shelf spacing multiple to a bracket of shelf count minus 1. Why we need to click minus 1? As the original one will not move at all. So minus 1 and click apply. Then okay. Now the shelf bar followed according to the shelf count where it moved. For example, I'm going to move it a bit here so we can see the difference. So for example, if I change the height number of 1500, click apply. Now the shelf count automatically value as 6 plate of shelf, and also the shelf bar spacing followed according to the height adjustment. So we don't need to worry about the shelf bar spacing if we need to drag them manually. Just by adding the formula correctly according to your model, it will follow just nice to our model. So now, what if I want to make sure the shelf bar spacing also added up to this thickness of the top of the plate, shelf plate. So in this formula, since we just add this, so if you check in the original shelf extrusion below here, the thickness is 40. So with the existing shelf formula, the shelf bar spacing formula, I'm going to add with the thickness. So you can type 40 and apply OK. Now it's add to up to 40 because of the thickness, or you can also change it to plus thickness. Click apply. So it's just the same as we click the value of the thickness. So this is the result for the new parametric that we created for our wall shelf, right? So if we check in our 3D, so this is the result that we created today. So if you want to manually change them, just click in your family types. You can just play around with this number of height or shelf spacing. For example, I'm going to change this shelf spacing to 500. Click apply. Now it becomes 3. Now for the materials, we only have rack materials. What if you want to change for the bar spacing to shelf bar to a new parameter? So to a new material, so you can click this first. So in this material, click this family, this icon over here. Since the existing one from the part one only have rack material, we're gonna create a new one. So over here, click this icon of new parameter, click and name it as bar material. Over here, it grouped as in materials and finish. Just click OK. Now we have a new one and click OK. If we check back in our family types, we have new material to that can be adjusted in family types. For example, I want to change the bar to stainless steel material. So in this family types, just click this bar material. Over here, we have this 3-dot button. Click this button so you can change your material over here. So for example, I'm going to change the bar material to stainless steel. And stainless steel. Okay, then you can choose your preference material over here. For example, I'm going to choose this stainless steel polish. And then it's already changed here. Click apply and OK. Now the material automatically change. Same goes for the rack material. If you want to change it, just click family types. I want to change it to stainless steel as well, but in different color. So for this one, I choose this color. In graphic, click apply, OK. Apply. Now it's already changed and click OK. So this is the result for our Part 2 Revit Parametric. For example, I'm going to change the family types to 250 and the height to 1000. Okay. After we have completed our Revit family parameter, along with the parameter, we want to add it to our model. For example, if I click this one, we have our model over here. So the new model of the new item of or element that we created, that we modeled, we want to add them to our project, model project. So let me open this first. And I'm going to drag it down a bit. So I want to place our new wall shelf over here, for example. So how to do that? So back in our Revit families, if you confuse what the difference of Revit families template and also Revit project template, in project we have more ribbon button over here. For example, architecture, structure, and steel. So if you want to change it back to our Revit families, you can see the ribbon button here is up for family model, to model an item. Now we want to add it to our model. So over here, we have load into project. So you need to click this one. But before we load into project, we need to ensure to rename our file because as we already added it to our project, the name will remain. So in order to do that, click File, click Save As, click Family. Over here, I'm going to rename it as Wall Shelf. Stainless steel. Okay. Click Save. Now the name are already changed to a new one. And then you can load into project. You need to choose the right project that you want to add to load them. So for example, I'm going to add this into this Revit Modeling D. Click OK. Then just place it. For example, I want to place it against this wall. So just place it here first. In this, now we are at the project template. Click this modify button and choose align to make sure the wall shelf model is placed against the wall. So now it's already located here. You can check in our back in your 3D. Why is it on the floor based? Because on part 1, before we create a new family, Revit family, we pick a template from model generic model, metric generic model. So any generic model we automatically place for floor base. So we need to change the height manually in our properties. If you click this our model, so you can change manually in your properties on your left. For example, the elevation from level is 0 now. So you can change up to perhaps 500 and click apply. So now it's already located here. So for the elevation from level, it's really depends on your preference. So that is how to do the Revit family parameter. So hopefully you guys can try and gain something today. Do you guys have any question? So before we end, don't forget to browse to our Acad systems website. Wait, Acad systems. Sorry. Okay. If you click acadsystem.com, you can browse to our website and click. You can look up for our promotion and news for our software products. Also, if you scroll more, over here we have our Autodesk free online lesson courses and lesson, so you can look up on the topic that you want to join, so you can register. So if you scroll down a little bit more, we also have training center that we provide. So if you would like to join our training, you can look up for our training schedule over here. Also, if you want to look up for the previous online lessons, you can check on our YouTube channel over here. So it will bring you to our YouTube channel, so you can look up for our online lesson over here. So that's all from me. Uh, Thank you.